Hello and welcome back to the Gaming 5. Street Fighter V has some ridiculous trophies. For example, this trophy is for watching 50 replays. Who has time for that? This trophy is for adding 30 people to your favorites. Making friends on the internet? If you don't know what Street Fighter is, you were probably born yesterday. Street Fighter V is the latest main entry in the very long-standing series. Does this usher in one of the oldest fighting game franchises into the newest generation with competence? I feel like I don't have to explain how to play a fighting game to you, since if you're watching this, you probably know what a fighting game is. You mash buttons either coherently or incoherently in the hopes of defeating your opponent. What Street Fighter V got surprisingly right is essentially a perfect balance between accessibility and depth. It definitely felt a lot easier to pick up than I expected. If you like fighting games and you're tired of Smash Brothers, you need not fear. What you do need to fear is what you'll more than likely be forced to do at some point: go online. While I will speak to that reasoning soon enough, the truth is that despite this game's accessibility, it's aimed at the hardcore fighting fan. If you're not interested in becoming good, then you perhaps do need to enter the fight with a bit of caution or sense of humility. I found myself stuck somewhere in between winning most of my casual matches and losing most of my ranked matches. And that makes for the perfect segue into the following statement. I found ranked matches to be a nightmare. Because I lost most of them? No. Because unless you have the patience to set your network rating higher for a smoother match and consequently longer waiting time for an opponent, laggy matches are utterly painful. Yes, you're seeing that, and if you listen, sound effects are even playing twice. Until I decided to weather longer waiting times, I lost several matches to latency problems. This is not related to server issues, but rather matchmaking issues. Street Fighter V will eventually shoehorn you into going online, and when you do, set the network rating to this, deal with longer waiting times, and thank me later. In summary, when things are smooth, they're very smooth, and I can happily report that fighting is polished, finely tuned, and solid. So why then do I mention that you'll probably have to go online? Because you'll run out of things to do very quickly. The game offers the usual modes: story mode, versus, and survival. There's also a training mode that you'll use more often than you think. But at the end of it all, you'll find yourself with nothing left to punch, leaving you with that palm sweat-inducing, nerve-wracking thing known as 1v1 me bro, with random dudes on the internet. Furthermore, while the roster does have a healthy 16 head count, Guile, who should clearly be a base character, is part of a season pass, and the lack of Crimson Viper had me totally miffed. And lastly, with just 10 stages and a training stage, the backgrounds are a bit lacking in number as well. But about those backgrounds, let me preface this section by saying two things that seem opposite. This game looks great, but this game looks ridiculous. Graphically speaking, I experienced a solid 60 frames per second, a colorful art style, and silly but animated backgrounds bustling with activity. What looks ridiculous is that everyone is taking steroids every day. I'm talking ridiculous proportions of hypermasculinity that, while I can't actually knock the game's score for, I felt were worth mentioning. So if you found yourself wondering what The Rock plus The Rock multiplied by The Rock would look like, here you go. Seriously, as a person who has played Street Fighter II and Street Fighter IV, watching everyone's proportions keep getting bigger has kind of taken away a bit of the class Street Fighter once had. So other than a personal niggle on aesthetics, Unreal Engine 4 has made a near-flawless showing in a fighting game environment. What we have here is the Star Wars Battlefront problem. The core game is a good one, and it's polished to boot both gameplay-wise and visually when lag isn't present. What it doesn't have is enough content. Not even close. While naturally more content will be added via DLC, paid and free, I will say the same thing I said with Star Wars Battlefront. If you're a Street Fighter lover, you probably already bought this game. If you're not, you'll want to stay away until it's significantly cheaper. With games like Mortal Kombat X and Killer Instinct providing far better value per dollar, I can't recommend Street Fighter V at full price. I give Street Fighter V an 8 out of 10. That's it for today. Subscribe for more gaming content delivered directly to your retinas. I'll see you next time on the Gaming 5. And yes, I totally do love Laura.